This news update is brought to you by...
Say hello to Carol. Carol talks for a living, from morning till night. So she relies on Flow's crystal clear home phone service brought to her through Flow's 100% fiber to the home network. It keeps her in the know, and because she bundles her mobile broadband and TV services, she enjoys huge savings, so she can enjoy much more for much less. So visit any Flow retail outlet, call 1-800-804-2994, or visit discoverflow.co to find out more. One-of-a-kind connection. This is how we flow.
It's Wednesday, March the 30th, 2016, and this is your Barbados Today Morning News Update. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. In our top story, retrenched workers of the National Conservation Commission will have to wait for a yet-to-be-determined period for a decision in their dispute brought before the Employment Rights Tribunal. Chairman of the tribunal, Hal Gollop QC, revealed yesterday that their ruling in the case brought by the National Union of Public Workers had been put on hold. Gollop told Barbados Today that the Barbados Workers Union had a similar case pending, and it made sense to hand down a single judgment only after hearing the BWU's case. However, Gollop has blamed the involvement of lawyers in the tribunal hearings for the slow rate of its proceedings.
The institution of the tribunal was not intended to make litigation more difficult. It was intended to make it much easier, and there's no need for people to have lawyers. But if people bring lawyers, you have to treat them as lawyers. I mean, most of those cases can be processed and I think without legal counsel.
Fighting back tears, the Vincentian owner of a fishing vessel held here as evidence in a major drugs case, yesterday afternoon made an impassioned plea to the authorities in Barbados to return his only means of providing for his family. Speaking to Barbados Today via telephone from his homeland, the trembling voice of Lenford Jack cried out to Barbadian law enforcement and judicial officials to relieve him of his suffering. 42-year-old Jack reported his boat Genesis stolen from the Kingstown harbor over a year ago, hours before Barbadian law enforcers intercepted the vessel with two of his fellow nationals on board and later charged them with having nearly $1 million worth of drugs inside the boat. Jack, a father of four, is insisting that he knew nothing about the men nor the presence of drugs on his vessel.
Everybody down here know me, all the fishermen, all the police, they know me. They know I clean.
Okay.
That's why I could come up and come forward, I have nothing to hold back, nobody has no secret for me.
Okay.
That's my property and I'm willing to come forward anytime.
Commenting on Jack's appeal for the release of his boat, prominent criminal lawyer and former president of the Barbados Bar Association, Andrew Pilgrim QC, said holding the vessel was not essential to the prosecution of the drugs accused.
Keeping the boat is something that Barbadian police are doing in far too many cases, just holding people's evidence, and it's not even the evidence, not even property owned by the accused, and just disenfranchising people and taking away their property, and it should be illegal and should be prevented.
A High Court judge is expected to reserve judgment in a case in which embattled former CLICO executive chairman Leroy Parris is seeking to hold on to $3.3 million paid to him by the insurance company. The hearing concluded yesterday, and sources involved in the case told Barbados Today that the only thing left to be done was for Parris's attorneys, Hal Gollop QC and Vernon Smith QC, to supply the judge with written submissions by tomorrow. The sources said the submissions were in response to one single point, following new submissions by Ramon Allen, counsel for the CLICO judicial manager, Deloitte Consulting. Parris is challenging a previous court ruling ordering him to repay the $3.3 million after a forensic audit had allegedly found that the monies were obtained through a fraudulent transaction. In sports now, Barbados' 32-member Carifta team is now back home from Grenada, bearing 8 gold, 6 silver, and 6 bronze medals. The athletes that included record-breaking stars Jonathan Jones and Shadale Williams were greeted by loud cheers from family, friends, sports, schools, and government officials led by Minister of Sports Stephen Lashley. Many of those waiting on the athletes' arrival carried placards and signs showing their appreciation for the youngsters and their efforts in Grenada over the Easter weekend. Speaking to the media, head coach Brian Holder credited the junior program that exposed athletes to various aspects of competition for the team's success.
What I would like to see was that our junior program is utilizing more, that we insist a little bit more that the charges from the various clubs come together and are exposed to what we're exposing everybody else to, because when we get to this level, we see some people in events that have some deficiencies that shouldn't show up at the peripheral games.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter, that's the move for me. Stability, prosperity, we're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
Turning now to news from the region, Canada has updated its travel advisory to Canadians visiting Trinidad and Tobago, alerting them to exercise a high degree of caution due to a high crime rate. The advisory, updated on March 18, 2016, warns of frequent incidents of violent robberies, assaults and rape, gang and drug-related violence, including shooting and kidnappings, crimes targeting foreigners at popular tourist sites, and incidents of gangs following cars leaving Piarco International Airport and robbing travelers once they reach their destination. In more regional news now, the police force in Antigua and Barbuda is standing its ground despite the successful application of lawyers for opposition United Progressive Party Public Relations Officer Damani Tabor to secure his release. Now, the UPP PRO was held on 2 separate charges after making statements weeks ago that there was an incident of impropriety at the Citizenship by Investment Unit. In a statement released to the media on the weekend, the police high command insisted that it operated lawfully.
The police in its statement explains that the basis of its investigation was in response to an official complaint that Tabor had made false, malicious, and improper statements which only served to undermine the integrity of public officers responsible for the program. As part of the investigations, a number of persons were interviewed. Tabor, according to the statement, was taken into custody on Wednesday, 24th March, after several unsuccessful attempts to get him to come to the police station on his own. He fell ill that same night and was taken to the Mount St. John's Medical Center. After he was discharged, he was returned to the police station, where he was interviewed for around an hour. According to the police, having given consideration to his statements, he was charged for making a false statement and for committing public mischief.
And on the international scene, former Canadian parliamentarian Jean Lapierre and several members of his family have been killed in a plane crash off the coast of eastern Quebec. The political commentator, his wife, 2 brothers, and a sister were on their way yesterday to the funeral of Lapierre's father when the plane went down in a field. Up to last night, the identities of the 2 other deceased were not known. At the time of the crash, there was snow, crosswinds, and freezing rain conditions. That's news and sports. However, you can join us again this afternoon for more. Until then, remember to log on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook. You can also catch us on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Also tune in to Channel 99 on Flow TV and to Mix 96.9 FM to get all the latest news and the sports. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic day.